just look at the current platforms and give you my thoughts. So I think if we start with Google Stadia, I think one of the important things with Stadia that I don't think most people have kind of got around this year is that really it's two operations now. It's retail, which is Google Stadia as we know it, Stadia Pro and Stadia, and trade, which we'll continue to call Google Stadia because I believe they do, and we don't have any other ideas. But they are two separate divisions within, if you like, of this around the tech that is Stadia. So I think that Google Stadia will continue to work on both in tandem, we each needing the other one to do well. It's like a symbiosis, or a symbiosis, as you should correctly pronounce it. I think we'll see that coming more to the fore this in 2022. I think that we will see some of the partnerships that they're fostering and working with impact the retail side and vice versa. So that's exciting. I see that as a real opportunity to if you like, grow the platform in a way that probably they wouldn't have done from day one. I also think there'll be a clearer emphasis this coming year on their core market being casual gamers, or lounge gamers as I like to call them, because you can be a casual gamer on a PC or a mobile, but I genuinely think that they see their core market as people like me, actually, that sits 8 feet from the screen, picks up a controller, fires it up, plays for 30 minutes, puts it down and goes off and does something else. Hopefully, I'd like to see greater integration with YouTube as well, but that's not really happened. We've seen some of the features integrate with YouTube, but YouTube recognizing Stadia as part of its offering hasn't happened. And I think a lot of us thought that we would see Stadia as a potential part of its premium subscription. That hasn't happened. There's no current sign of it happening. I'm not sure that Google see that as a route they want to take. So it'll be interesting to see if that develops. There will, of course, though, be greater integration with domestic appliances, TVs and mobile devices. We've seen that already with LG in the last few weeks, and just recently with LG, if you've got the more up-to-date versions. So it'll be interesting to see what other brands that Google Stadia have been working with to see integration of Stadia there. So that's all going to be really good. I think that we will see the tech, which is their core, it's the core part, the engine. I think we'll see that driving as yet unknown newcomers into cloud gaming. We know many of the big entertainment conglomerates have divisions already in gaming and have had for many, many years. So bolting in a Google cloud gaming platform alongside their own catalogue of games affords them an opportunity to expand. So that'll be interesting to see, and I think we'll be surprised by who suddenly pops up with a cloud gaming bolt-on to their already existing entertainment services that is actually powered behind the scenes by Google Stadia. Possibly expansion into other territories as well, but actually that's expensive to do. It isn't just about the infrastructure, and we know that Google is one of the big six that has a massive network across the globe, but there are hidden costs that we don't think about that actually they have to think about. Cost of marketing, for example. It's difficult to run a territory from the States. You typically, they will want to put or parachute in a team into a specific territory, as they do in the UK and Europe, for example. So you have to set that up, and that, finding the right people, training them up, getting them provided with everything they need, and so on. So there's some of that. There's also some licensing hurdles. So I think that's more likely to be a slow burn. That's no massive change for Stadia in the coming year, but I think those are things that will be happening. Then quickly moving on to GeForce Now. Well, I think if Stadia are looking for to be the casual gamers cloud platform of choice, then GFN definitely has their eye on PC gamers. They'll continue to upgrade their entire network to the 3080 tier, possibly once they've reached a critical mass of users, even break the 6-month upfront commitment down to a monthly commitment. Currently, I don't think they can do that. They've invested huge amounts. They can't afford for people to test it and go away. So, that's sort of trying to ensure that the people that take the service are committed to it and prepared to spend that kind of money. But I think that will change over time. I feel that the reliance on, and it's kind of a word of warning, I feel that the reliance on a small amount of feeders, if you like, Steam, Epic, GOG, Ubisoft, is a potential threat for them long term. So I think they'll actively be looking at how they can mitigate this. Potentially, I suppose, even moving to direct sale at some point. Whether that's this coming year, I don't know. But I think there's some politics that they'd have to get around that would make that a problem initially. So maybe that's a longer term partnership. I also think there might be a new Shield TV Pro in the coming year. The current model, although it's not that old, I think the latest one's 2 years old. What it doesn't do is allow you to stream from the device beyond 720p. So I think that's a potential issue. And something I was thinking that might happen, I mean, this is pure speculation, but if it does happen, you heard it here first, folks. Going out on a limb, I could even see them partnering with someone like Elgato to provide an entry-level streaming suite that would include a GFN 3080 account along with a streaming box, camera, lights, mic, mixing desk, but at an affordable price for content creators that don't have a rig powerful enough to stream a 4K game. Now, there's a space for that in the market, and why shouldn't that be GFN with their card background and someone like Elgato with the streaming brand behind them? See if that happens. Xbox Cloud Gaming. Xbox has now laid out its stall, and it's an incredibly compelling offering. All the new games to the platform are now coming on board, ready to stream, so you can just click into your console and you can stream on mobile or PC as well as an Xbox. What's missing now is simply the quality that Stadia and GFN have shown can be achieved. Now, if anybody could come up to the plate, it's got to be Microsoft. So, I think we're starting to see that. The new Clarity Boost, which is just recently launched on browsers. I think it's in beta, but it works really, really well. This can be tweaked client side in software in the browser. So, with the power of Gen X and S, I think we'll see that moving into the console and going much further and beyond where we currently are. I think the Series S and cloud gaming were made for each other. So I'm going to predict that this is where Xbox will center its next big marketing push later in the year, but not until they've hit a critical mass of console sales for obvious reasons. I also expect to see them pushing big on Game Pass with Xbox Cloud Gaming as a PC subscription. Now, you can do that right now, but they don't push it really hard. But the fact that you can play all of these games every day, every week, and on the cloud, and you don't even actually need an Xbox, that's actually a big sell. For obvious reasons, they don't shout about it. So that's compelling. I expect to see that moving forward. Again, once they've caught the critical mass on the Xbox. Two more. PS Now. Sony. I think Sony could be the sleeping giant, but I think it could also be the giant that never wakes up. So we know from Bloomberg that there are plans to merge PS Plus and PS Now, but initial reports don't appear to suggest that there'll be any major changes to PS Now. They will roll out PS5 hardware, as the Xbox has rolled out Series X, but it doesn't look at this point they have any intention of releasing day and dates to the service. I think that's a mistake. Even offering a cloud option for brand new digital purchases would be a welcome move. That isn't rumoured either. So for me, Sony's risking being one of the first to market with PS Now a few years ago, but ultimately losing out to others who've seized the potential. So I'm a little worried about PlayStation. We'll see how it goes. Finally, Amazon Luna. Well, the service is still in a region lock beta, so in 2022, they've got to go big or go home. I mean, that means widening it out to at least Europe, but equally Asia, and Australasia. I think that's critical. They need to make sure the fundamental services that other platforms enjoy, such as multiplayer and chat, are in place. They also need to finally show their hand on how they're going to integrate Luna into Amazon Prime, as I'm sure, as eggs is eggs, they will do. I also expect the beta price to increase when it does expand out to wider territories, I think at least $10. But for that, I do think we'll be seeing day-and-date AAA releases, and as Stadia, a handful of older and indie games per month. So there'll be a par level in terms of that.